Okay, thank you very much. If you can stop screen sharing. Alright, so most of the work is already done on that lesson. And you folks, as well as the tricks and traps and the champions, this is the task and force for stopping child trafficking, gross levels of mutilation, etc., to formulate the other 2 or 3 sentences that needs to go into this lesson. Okay. In preparation for me to get you guys ready to put this letter through the next day, as it were, is I prepared a slideshow to explain to you guys what all this stuff means. If you guys have watched that presentation, which is an absolute must, otherwise this course is not going to make any sense for you, is that, say, one typical country like Nigeria has been openly to your subconscious mind, your spirit, your soul, all those parts which is part of your biology. Biology means life. Has communicated itself that the people in those countries are dead. That is like me coming to you in open daylight, slitting your throat, and just leaving you on the street to witness. That's what they've done to you on a spiritual level. That is what your spirit sees. That is what your soul sees. That's what your subconscious mind sees, unconscious mind. In fact, every part of you sees that. So how are they getting away with it? They're getting away with it because they are occupying a very small part of your world. And that small part of that world is called an ID, an id, an ego, which they created through Sigmund Freud in order to seat these words and feed these words into the rest of you, which would be like 99.9999% of what you are. In doing so, they subdue you. Why am I telling it to you in this fashion? Every single one of you at this stage is actually hypnotized. That is why you have been ticking these boxes called white man, European. Just in case if you do not know what European is, that's the goddess Europa. That's the goddess Europa. Okay, she's in your history book. She now, at this moment, runs virtually off the planet, economically, spiritually, etc. So, they have, so successful are they, they've been getting you to not only write it that you are black man, Black Lives Matter, that you are a white woman, that you are a white man. They not only got you doing this, but they got you doing evil upon yourselves as well as other people. When this happens, you enter the world of the dead. And that is one of the classifications of being the dead. That's why you have mortgages. And you have these vile things that are running through your planet. I'm now going to go to the slideshow where I can explain these things more fuller. And then we will go to the letter, and we will forge this letter together. Okay, and this is me as a planet potentiary, as well as other positions on this planet, to be able to put Nigeria to rest, set Africans free, Americans, Canadians, and so on and so forth on a global scale. On a global scale. Ramifications of what I did on Thursday is already moving through this planet. It's the better way that I can express it. Okay? Can I have the slideshow, please? When you do wicked, sinful, wrongful things, you become consciously a black Negro, a nigger, a Nigerian, a Nakubamanta. What does that mean? You see, they are good enough to be able to convince and attach these words to, we call it, dark-skinned people. They're using imagery in order to attach these words very successfully, because you guys have all been doing it involuntarily, generation after generation. Are you just simply picking this block, Nigerian, black African, black American? You have instructed your own spirit to move, talk, and have evil done to on yourself, as well as you to do evil on others. Hence, you live in a world of a cursive world. Your soap operas are cursive. Your language is cursive. Your signature is cursive. The money supply in your system is cursive. When this is firmly planted in your mind, you give up all sense of ownership, what they call loyal title, your ability to have your own children and keep your own children, to provide and write your own contracts and court of records and etc. You are in every single way, as opposed to what it is living, is that you have become the dead. And you're going to have to understand it. And when you apply critical thinking or some sort of logic, you will see 100% that virtually 90% of the world's population is behaving like the dead, faithless, hopeless, which is essentially the opposite of the 7 deadly sins, albeit what is known as the 7 virtues. And these 7 virtues can change mildly in language or in definition and words, but the core of it is always the same. Now, to seal your own doom, just as the Nigerians done, ask any Nigerian how the country treats them, or ask any so-called black man or black woman how their country treats them. Or even Fox News and so many other news stations will openly tell you that we sell loans and home agreements to mud people. Mud people is another way of saying black people. Blackened, with black hearts, with black minds, with cursive signatures. When anybody that does that or treats anybody in that manner, you yourself become the dead. Because evil begets evil. If everybody of you understood this, and you have agreed with what I have said, put your thumbs up. If anybody that does not agree with this or does not understand what I have said, then you turn on your mic without competing with each other. Do not compete with each other. Turn on your mic and raise your question or your statement or whatever it is. Guys, there's nearly 300 people here. Surely one of you must have don't understand or have an objection or something.
Okay, I've got one. Just not an objection, just a query. You said about those who put, on their form, whether they're from Europe or Black American or Black British or so forth. This term here, when someone does something wicked, sinful, wrongfully, you become consciously a Black Negro, nigger, Nigerian necromancer. Does that apply to a European or someone, inverted commas, European? If they do wicked things through wrongful things, do they become, regardless of their skin color, considered a Black Negro as well?
Correct. Blackened heart is called a black heart.
Okay, so the adjective is black.
I do not know what that means.
It's not describing a color, a person, a being. It's describing a state or a color, isn't it?
Correct.
Oh, cool.
It's describing a state of condition.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay. Can we have the next slide, please? Can you make this document a little bit bigger, zoom in a little bit? Do we have zooming ability on this document? This is just one document that can be found on my website under the resource section. And what I'm trying to point out to you folks is the zone that's been highlighted. Can we zoom into that, please, and center it onto the screen? This document, that's fine. This document, what it does, it shows some of the mechanisms that they use to let you know and how they're going to capture an entire nation. So with this document, what they're doing is they're capturing and have captured through their church system, as well as the Anglican, the entire native Canadian people. And it is their own chieftains and witch doctors, just as they are in your own country, that sold them into being necromancers or blackened heart, blackened mind, curses. And they're captured as lost vessels at sea. Lost vessels at sea. These are all real documents. Now, if you look a little bit further, and this is what all of you are, as well as the whole of Nigeria, the people that are considered black, the people that do black things, including doing black things, you are all considered to be permanent named debtors and forfeit of public and private bonds, aka preferred and common stock of your chieftains as tax going, which is a, shall we say, wanting for a better word, it's part of the language of what is known as Zionism. You will learn about that as well. You are all tax going. Tax we are referring to is the taxing of your life, your body, your children, your blood, your DNA, as well as the harvesting of your babies that are now enters your food system. If they are feeding you, your own mothers, grandmothers, and your children to you, in order to prove that you are cannibalized. You are cannibal, and that you cannibalize on your own offspring. Consciously, you do not know this. Consciously, you do not know this. Your conscious mind, and the state that it is in, only occupies probably, and this is a probability guess, 1 billionth or more of who and what you are. The rest of you knows what you are. That you are a liar, that you are a cheater, that you are a participant in oppressing people, eating your own offspring, your own tribe's people, your own culture, etc. In doing so, they have captured you because that is what you are. And hard as it is to understand it, each one of you, through the food systems that you've been eating, have developed a taste. And that's called a taste enhancer for baby flesh. The flesh that I'm speaking about don't just come from the American circumcision market, where virtually all babies are circumcised. They take that skin and sell it into the pharmaceutical as well as plow it into your food system. That is just one mechanism. In doing so, you acquire a particular disease. And I keep forgetting the name of that disease. And that disease causes spondylitis in your brain. It's nature's safe mechanism to stop you from cannibalizing. Yes, it's called Kru. K-U-R-U. And most of you are acquiring that. They released it as also mad cow disease because they said we are feeding human beings, people, to cattle as a protein substitute, and it's entered your food chain. That's secondary. It's now being directly plowed into your food supply. Hence, I had to intervene as a plenipotentiary judge or federal prosecutor. The best position would be the master. Does everybody here understand the document that I'm showing them? If so, put your thumbs up. Is there anybody that does not understand what I have said? If there is, just turn on your mic and ask that question or clarification.
Can you hear me?
Say your name, and that's the best way to start.
My name is Jorge.
Yeah, okay.
I understood what you said, but the way things are worded is a little confusing to me in the document. Is it enough to understand what you said? I'm trying to understand the document, but I'm a little new to this kind of thing.
Any further clarification is that they've made claims on a group of people in Canada because they were stupid enough to convert into what is commonly called Christianity, to believe that they were born in sin. What these people do is they take healthy things like Christianity, like something wholesome, like even the most wholesome of ideology, and they twist it. So once you accept sin into your life, that also forfeits your ability to claim land or have an autograph or a thumbprint or a seal. Okay? So
Mark, is this only pertaining to the Squamish people of Canada, or does this include all people of Canada? Is it just zoomed in on the Squamish people?
This particular document is dealing with that particular tribe, but these documents would be identical virtually across the planet. Okay? So that is that. What I'm teaching you is the mechanism. It doesn't matter if it's John's tribe in New York. You understand what I'm saying? The mechanism is identical. All right? So, next slide, please.
Are we agreeing to this, Mark?
Who's speaking?
Sorry, Lauren Ellis in New York.
What's your question?
This paper, did we agree to it? I mean, is it just submitted to court without our knowledge, or?
Can somebody help me out? What the lady's trying to ask me. This is only because I'm a bit limited with that type of question. So somebody help me out what she's saying.
This is Maureen in Georgia. She's asking me if we agreed to what's going on in the document. Like, did we give our consent?
Mark, the paper you're showing us, is it something they're submitting without our knowledge?
I'll see what you mean.
Can I say something?
Everybody switch off their mic. Too much enthusiasm. I just need, somebody to step up. One person just to
honey, you won't be able to hear the conversation.
Mark, may I say something?
If you want to hear it, you won't be able to hear it if I put the mic on my mic. Even though this is his requirement, but you won't be able to hear it. I don't have a mic that's designed.
Then, can you switch off everybody's mic, please?
I'll switch mine off.
The lady that asked me the question, can you ask me again?
Oh, sorry. Hello, this is Lauren. I was asking, the paper you showed us, was that something we signed, we agreed to then? This paper? Or they just arbitrarily file it?
So they arbitrarily file it because everybody has agreed that they are sinful in their local county churches.
Oh, really?
Why do you go to church? To have your sins forgiven?
I don't go to church. I'm a Taoist.
I've answered your question. If you don't understand the significance of what I'm saying, I don't wish to go on with it any further. If you don't
I don't understand.
If you don't know, the people that go to these places are going because they were born in sin and they don't have a commune with their Creator. If you don't know that, then I can't help you. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Can I have the next document, please? One of the ways that you can use bilateral agreement is to use the verses that suit you or your own words. And that creates a bond. And another word for a bond is also a God. Let me explain. You have the word Bible, and the Bible means two. B-I means two. And B-L-E means, it's an old English word meaning contrast. Because you yourself have not picked up that secondary part of that contrast and allowed it to totally dictate to you, rather than you dictating your church, your government, your court, your legislator, because you have remained silent, you have no two-party agreement. Can everybody switch off their mics, please? Listen, folks, it's really quite important that you police yourself, because the last thing you want to do is piss me off, because I tend to be very impatient, and that's how I like myself. Okay? I'm doing these things free for you guys, so you can set yourself and your communities free as well as your nation. If you can't respect that by not being able to control your mic and disturbing my thoughts, yeah, I'd be quite happy to use the word F off with you. Okay? So, let's just take a few minutes out. Can somebody step up and tell me, without researching it, what is this F off word is? Can you somebody point it out to me? What is this F off word?
What's a swear word?
No guesses. Anybody know what fuck means?
I thought it came from the Fusark room.
I said,
Let's everybody switch off. Listen to the dynamics of what is happening. I asked somebody to step up and tell me what this word F-U-C-K means. And I get a whole heap of guesses. How far do you think you'll get through life by guessing? Nowhere. Okay? So, everybody switch off the mic. Get your thinking correct, not reactionary.
This is Maureen from Georgia. It means fornicating under the consent of the king.
See how many guesses there is? I'm going to take a few seconds out, just pause, and try to get you guys to calibrate, because your guesses don't work. The word fuck means to strike. It means to strike or penetrate you with an object. It's got nothing to do with sex. It's got nothing to do with fornication. You understand? So when I say, oh, you don't want to fuck me off, you understand? You don't want to strike me. You don't want to go down that route. Understand what words are, and no guesses. Guesses will just simply go round and round in circles. A bilateral agreement, and I'm going back to the subject, simply means it requires another man or a woman to call it out, sing it out, to write it out, whatever it is. It's what they call a silent party. And all of you are silent parties. Full stop. The way that they got the Jewish banking system, what they call the Zionists, and the Europeans, and the so-called white people all around the world involved in this level of necromancy, is because they got other people, they got used to do evil upon others. Hence Matthew 25, verse 45. He will reply, true, I tell you, whatever you did, not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. It just simply means that whatever ill that you have done, and whatever thing that you should have done that you did not do, it counts against you. It really is serious, and I'm sorry to use this word S-I-H-T. It is serious shit, man, that you're dealing with. Full stop. One of the most powerful verses you could use in the Bible is, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What it's doing is creating 3 rules. It's informing you 3 times, because the third strike is out, to let you know what you say, what you do, what you sing, what you write, creates that God. It is you that are creating these gods. The Jewish God, the Muslim God, the Hindu God, and there are so many of them that I don't think I want to name even like 1% of them. I'll be here all day. In doing so, you walk yourself into Matthew chapter 8. Let the dead bury the dead. These words are in there for a significance, is what I would say. If they're letting you know that there really is such thing called dead people, which is sounds like an oxymoron and unbelievable state of condition. But you check your next door neighbor's behavior, check your own behavior, you check your country's behavior, you check the behavior of Nigeria, which is politically incorrect to say. You check the Nigerian behavior. Nobody trusts them. Nobody wants to do business with them. It's all because of this word that they've adopted, and their spirit gets them to perform exactly what they're asking it to do. That's how powerful these words are. They've subdued an entire race of people, and I use this word race sparingly, to volunteer themselves into servitude so they can be sold throughout the world. And that all happened way before the so-called Africans turned up. A slave master essentially sells himself into this world of necromancy. And we have the next slide. The whole world, ladies and gentlemen, is under hypnosis. Their success was to subdue you with their words, and they did that with a simple thing like a mirror. By reversing the meaning and internalizing your internal world, which is called a vision. Vision is something that your genie operates on a regular basis. The vision that you have of yourself. Switch off their mic, please. I must say it's very annoying for me because I tend to go into concentration. What the necromancers, the slave traders, the chieftains, the witch doctors throughout the world, what they did is they prepared the entire world to become spiritually dead to themselves and to volunteer into servitude. They did that by a mechanism what is known as internalizing your vision. They created a vision of yourself. They got you to internalize it. Once it is internalized, this is what you will do in your physical body and for your world, your environment, on paper and on contract. That is Medusa. You see, Medusa was a beautiful woman. But the gods did not approve of who she fell in love with, and turned her so hideous that nothing can look upon her face. That's what your gods have done to you. That's why you signed up to the anti-terror conspiracy. That's why you believe that the Twin Towers was done by Osama bin Laden. And if you wrote a letter to the FBI saying what's happening with Osama bin Laden, previous to him getting, living next door to a military compound, if you were to ask them, they'd say, who? Osama bin Laden. Who? You must know Osama bin Laden. Well, you show us who he is and we'll go after and get him. They're not questioning Osama bin Laden. They're saying to you, you have to prove to us the existence of him. It's an effigy that they created in your mind, which you internalize. And you internalized it, and then he flew 2 airplanes and a third one somewhere else into those towers. You visualized the whole goddamn thing. That's how they got all the enemies into your world. That's how they gave you diseases and etc. Their trickery was to use a mirror and for you to internalize their true image. The true image of a narcissist and psychopath is hideous. It's as hideous as Medusa is. That's the internal world of these fucking gods. This means every single god on this planet. That's what they look like. Can we have my website where Alex did a course on narcissism and psychopathy, where I got that thumbnail? Can I have a look at that? I want you to show everybody that. This is what the internal image, one of the internal images that psychopaths have of themselves and narcissists. This is what they look like. And this is their ambition, to make every one of you look like them, so they can normalize it. These are what your gods look like as well. If you can create a better one out of your own word, which is what the ambition of this book is, so be it. But that is what they look like. Just one representation. And this is what they do to you. This is how they are feeding your own children to you. Everybody understood what I have said? Thank you. Can we go back to the slideshow? So each one of you has an internal image of what you think you are. And the name of that internal image was not forged by you, created by you for your own benefit. It was created by somebody else. And that image is called an id. When a police officer asks you for your driving license and passport, he does not ask for your qualifications to drive. He does not ask you your passport to pass through the port. He asks for what? Your identification. And another word for identification is an id. It's an artificial construct of you. That is what they're looking for. And each one of you has signed up to that, your government to control your id. The gods control Medusa because of the internal image that they created for her, and they control that image. Does everybody understand what I have just said to them? Is there anybody that does not understand? Thumbs up, thumbs down, without competing and without too much talk and back talk and guessing. If there's anybody that does not understand, turn your mic on without competing and ask your question.
Mark, this is Mary Kelso, and I'm just wondering, is this just in essence a way of saying how they brainwashed us?
So, what I'm talking about is the mechanisms of the brainwash. How are they brainwashed? How do they get to brainwash you to begin with? I mean, like, if you think yourself, without being comical, you think of yourself as a dog. How is a burglar going to hypnotize you as a dog? The dog will rip your throat apart. But they are able to hypnotize you through subduction, or misinformation, or mirroring, trying to befriend you, domesticating you through violence and inbreeding, feeding your own kind to you. By the way, a dog will never eat another dog. A dog will never eat another dog. And they get you to believe dogs eat dogs. Dogs do not eat other dogs. They might kill each other, but they will never consume their own because of this perusing.
But again, this is Mary, but of course we would never do that, or I would hope we would never do that if we were aware of this happening.
Mary, listen to what I'm saying. A small segment of you, the only one that doesn't know it's true. The rest of your 99.999%, that is you, knows fully well that you're doing it. That's called your subconscious mind, your spirit, whatever you want to call it. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else that does not understand that has a question?
What about the reptilians, Mark?
Oh my God.
Can I have a next slide, please? I am now going to check your knowledge. I don't want competing. I want everybody to be civil, okay, and participate in this. White race, Asian race, African race, the black race are all what? It's a trick question.
Dead.
Without competing, without being reactionary, somebody turn on your mic and answer the question, please. And it is a trick question. Okay?
All men and women? This is Mary from Illinois.
I wouldn't know what that means, Mary, but if somebody else works this out.
Yeah, people.
Somebody
I
else?
was trying to say that it could be part of races, you know, like as in racing, as in a race.
Thank you.
The sport.
Thank you. That's exactly what it is.
Mark, there is no black race. And race, the word race is Russian war. Go back to the old etymology of words.
Can we stop making statements, please? Stop reacting. Stop. What the New Zealand gentleman is pointing out, the key word in all of these words is the word race. And the word race is that they got you competing with each other. And each one of these words is a corporate contract word. White, Asian, African, they're all corporate words, like McDonald's Corporation. They got each one of these self-confessed corporations to race amongst each other and compete with each other. You know I'm a superior race? So bullshit. Okay? Does everybody here understand it, what I've just said? If not, wait a minute.
It's divide and conquer, right, Mark? Divide and conquer.
Yeah. Next one. Who won the World Cup? Anybody know?
Argentina.
And is that a game that they play? What they call a play?
What is it, Bill?
I need an answer. Is that a play? Is that a play that they play?
Yes, they play the match.
Yeah. What is a play?
Artistry.
An act. Game.
It's the extra show.
Correct. It's scripted. There was no competition. It's basically saying that Argentina is going to get some money. Power is going to go to Argentina. Money is going to go to Argentina. Probably Bitcoin and etc. And it will be probably the Arabs that will sponsor that. It's a play. It's always been a play. And you are actors in that play. And you are performing that play openly. You understand? Each one of you is playing that game because that's what it is. And you've been scripted to do that.
PlayStation, FIFA.
So, we can bypass the third question. Okay? So that means strike or to penetrate, and it never had any sexual connotation. So, I'm now going to ask you a question. When you're usually posed something, it's like, I don't give a fuck. Or in reality, is it, I do give a fuck? What is it? Somebody turn on your mic and answer the question.
Hi, this is Terry from the United States. I don't give a fuck.
So you don't want to strike anybody? Don't
yeah, I want to strike these people that's doing these bad things to us.
So you must give a fuck then, because that's what it means. It means to strike them. Just substitute that F-U-C-K word with strike.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. I give a strike, man. I give a strike. That's why you champions have been working hard at striking these freaks down. Switch off your mic, please, everybody. I'm only speaking to the lady and nobody else. Thank you. I need full participation in this. What is a knuckle answer? No guesses.
Someone that didn't crack the date.
If you know, let me know.
I know.
Okay.
Someone who practices necromancy, conjuration of the evil spirits, influence the course of events or the future.
You're reading it off a dictionary, aren't you? That's not participation. That's off a dictionary speaking to you.
Hi, this is Abdur. Hi, this is Abdur. It means black men disease.
Sorry?
black man disease, or dead man disease, sorry, dead man disease.
Okay. So anybody else?
I was going to say that necro meaning black or dead, man meaning man, and then sir, could it be contract, could it be, I'm presuming.
Yeah, I actually do not know what CER is. Perhaps somebody, can tell me.
In another language, when Romanian say, which is very close to Latin, CER actually means sky. Well, I don't know if it's related to...
I do not know, and I can't participate, but can we all agree that we have a root word called man? Can we all agree that it has a root word either in the singular or the plural? Which one is it? Is it singular or plural?
Singular.
Can we all agree that necro means what?
Magic.
Dead.
Wizard.
Sorry? A wizard.
Witchcraft.
Yeah.
Necro just simply means dead.
Yeah, dead. Somebody's plausible term in the chat.
It's a man that deals with dead, or does things with the dead. Like necrophilia, which is a common enough symptom in our time. These are people that like to have some sort of intercourse with dead people. Don't laugh at it. It might sound comical, but Kill Bill made a scene on that because there's an industry behind it. Okay, when men die, they die erect. Okay, they have an erection when they die because the blood vessels open up and it swells. So women that wish to please themselves with these men would normally go to the mall and do that. That's also part of the sexual thing that these people do. Yeah, you've got to understand that they do it psychologically, physiologically, sexually, monetary-wise, including mortgages and so on and so forth. They really are necromancers. Death pledges. They're practicing death on you. All right? Everybody understands that? Thank you. Next slide. Black lives matter. Black means death, necro, etc., so they don't have access to life. Each one of these very large organizations, and there's hundreds of them in the US and every other country in the world, know who I am because they've been served notice. And they make sure everybody switch off their mics, please. I don't require participation here. All of these people, irrespective of what shade they are all practicing necromancy. And one of the biggest ones at the moment is Israel. They are sponsoring hundreds of these campaigners to write out that Black Lives Matter, that black people should have rights, making sure that they themselves are participating in necromancy because they know what they're doing. So when somebody does ill upon somebody else, they themselves become part of that system. And that's how Israel, and that is how the fiction countries like Nigeria, Africa, Ireland, all exist. They exist through a system what is known as Parliament. House of Life is what Parliament means. The Omicron virus is them to let you know that they're going to make oxymorons out of you. And they're very successful at it. So, this is a screenshot of Black Lives Matter, which was sponsored not sponsored, financed by a Nazi. Quite literally by a Nazi. Another word for a Nazi is another race of Jews that likes to cannibalize on themselves. You have it in your own family. Trust me on that. Actually, you don't need to. You've got first-hand knowledge of it, probably. And in your culture, and in your race, and in your tribe, you have these people. So, you know, the historical, in history, it is said that one particular tribe enslaved the others. So the Pharaoh can benefit from that relationship. You guys understand? So this particular race that likes to cannibalize on its own race will follow its prey. And the Nazis created Israel, and there they went and gave place to their victims. That is how this system works. The predator corrals its prey and creates these artificial places and gets them to perform this necromancy where they will feed on that. That's their prey. That's only one particular country I'm speaking about. The chieftains of Nigeria, the politicians, the witch doctors, the pharmaceutical industry, the schools, the churches, the governments, the oil companies, all know this system that I'm speaking about. And they constructed the wholesale cannibalism of Nigeria. That's another country. Nigeria is also one of the countries in Africa that has the largest amount of cannibalism. Hundreds of people, children, girls, boys, taxi drivers, just simply disappear, and if they find them in warehouses hanging with their parts of their body cut away while they're still alive. And the witch doctors feed on that, and they're not even using it for organ transplant. Do one little research and you'll see it. This used to go on in Ireland as well. It goes on in Palestine. Children disappear in Palestine all the time and turn up with some of their organs missing. This is serious shit, as I told you. Can I have the next slide, please? Assuming that everybody's seen the movie called Silent Hill, it's a depiction, not pronouncing that right. It's a pictorial representation of what they are doing to you because of the hell that they are doing to you. It's beautifully represented in Silent Hill. In the movie Matrix, how many of you thought that Zion was the place of refuge? That Zion is where you need to go to escape the machine world. Zion is where they're paroling you to live off you, a place of utter misery underground. And that is to say to your subconscious mind, if you ever wake up from your nightmare, it will just simply transport you to Zion. That's what that means. The movie, World War Z, is about what is happening to your country, your world at this moment. The zombies, which is people looking for life, that have woken up from their nightmare scenarios, is about to go into these countries and smash it to pieces. Like Nigeria, like in the Americas, like in Canada, like they are going to do all over the world. And Israel is doing its very best. It's just one country I'm speaking about. All other countries are involved in this massive conspiracy. to keep their people dead in a state of perpetual silent kill scenario, in a state of perpetual mortgages, the land of the dead.
Excuse Mark. It was ironic that in World War Z, that was one of the major scenes when they actually scaled the wall in Israel.
Yeah. Israel's contract is only for 99 years. It has a 99-year lease, and then they have to give it back to whoever, gave it up to begin with. It's all done through their chieftains. I actually don't know who that land belonged to previously. They tell me it was Palestine, but I'm not interested in who it belongs to. It's like me not knowing who Nigeria belongs to. Don't really care. What I'm talking about is what is happening. Everybody understands this? Thumbs up. Is there anybody that does not understand it? You can ask a question, but no competition.
Ruben Barlow here.
Yep.
Is Zion National Park area?
I don't understand your question.
Where is Zion on this earth?
It's in your mind, my friend.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question, Mark, for this.
Yeah.
When this COVID thing first came on, the Queen of England left Buckingham Palace. Was that due?
It would be a contract suspended with the Buckingham family. You can look it up. They're a very old family, probably parallel to Oxford or Cambridge.
Thank you.
Okay.
One question more.
The royal family spoke of prophets. Anyway, on the royal family.
There's Roland.
Yeah. Well, a question. This World War Z, is it the Z that the Russians have there on their military vehicles?
Zion.
Is that the same?
Zion.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Russians have Z on.
They have everywhere on each vehicle, everything on every tank, they have a Z. And it's forbidden in Germany to show this Z.
Well, that's very interesting. Can you share me the link, please, so I can qualify that?
That's interesting. You can have a look at that, yeah?
Yeah, just send it to us, and we'll show it, just to qualify it. Okay? So, while you're doing that, Roland, what was the other question that we had?
No, it was just the Z, whether this is the Z from this World War Z that is...
I only know it, Roland, as Zion.
Yeah.
War on Zion. Okay, so while you look for that, I'll take another question because there was somebody else saying something.
I was just going to add that I believe that the Z from the war is with Zelensky, but yeah, there's just a guess.
I'd like to add something.
Yeah.
The Z is to do with the battalion that saved John F. Kennedy when he was in the army or whatever it was he was in. It's the battalion that saved him. John F. Kennedy has the tattoo with the Z and the sword, and it has to do with something else. It's nothing to do with zombies.
It has everything to do with zombies. We're talking about the word Z. What that means, I do not know anything else apart from Zion. somebody else is contributing to what I'm saying. So unless you have evidence of it that you're able to share now, I'm not sure how I can use it.
Mark, I've sent something into the chat. It's got a Z with a dagger going through on, if you can see my phone. That is JFK's. He's also got a tattoo of it on him. So it's like he's stating that they're against Zion or their movement to take it down. As you can see the shield.
Now let's have a look at that sword. Is it up or down?
It's down. It's facing down.
Well, if it's down, that means it's protecting Zion.
Oh, it's protecting. Well, oh dear. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll put it in the chat.
It's another way of saying that Zion, is when you have the sword in, it means that it's that peace. When you have the sword up, it means war is declared. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide, please. Everybody understands this document now, how they got you doing what they're doing. To anybody that does not understand it, I need thumbs up and quick responses because time is a bit precious, Okay, so we have the next stop. Actually, let me ask some questions.
As long as I'm standing,
what does it mean to be baptized?
when it's called Jawir, you're a devil itself.
Reuben Barlow here.
Yep, I'm waiting. I don't need conventional answers and responses. It's, it's a bit more interesting than that.
I was told that it would erase your sins.
I didn't know you had any sin. Come on, guys, do a little bit more interesting. You have to keep me stimulated as well, yeah?
Yeah, that's what they say, though, in the conventional sense. But then the baby
we're not here for conventional things because we're not conventional people. So I require you guys to think in unconventional ways.
The washing of the dead before embalming.
It means to give up your old life. That's all it means. Okay?
To enter the world of the dead.
To enter the world of the dead because you drown. Nothing to do with washing away your sins and stuff. Okay? How can a baby be born in sin, for God's sake? What's the matter with you folks? Next slide, please. How many more slides do we have before this? You remember the old movie Abdur? I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the new one. This is also to just share with you for the purposes of sharing. This is a public announcement to say the whole of New Zealand and Australia has gone totally maritime. That's what this entire movie is about. It's a beautiful movie. I quite enjoyed it. There's no real plot or anything. If you were to script it, it'd be a real stupid script. But in terms of aesthetic, hypnosis, imagery, it's superb. And it's to let you know New Zealand and its accompanying islands, including Australia, has gone totally maritime. They're going to be operating in maritime. Okay, that's what that means. Last time the world went to maritime, they released Waterworld. There's this movie called Ant-Man. In that movie, there's a clip there where they say, quantum is the way forward. On February is when I'll be teaching my 6th and 12th university students quantum language, albeit put together by Alex. And that movie is released to let you know that's what I'm going to be doing. Quantumania. The whole world is going to go quantum language. Correct sentence structure, pathway, syntax, grammar. That's how they're speaking to you. If it was 200 years ago, it would have been the shadow puppet players or traveling actors. Old actors have full immunity. If you're an actor, you can go to Russia in the height of war and do your performance with no consequences, because that's the mechanism that they use to talk to your subconscious mind for the better, for the worse, for benign, malevolent reasons. Okay? They are servicing you to your higher function parts of your world to let you know quantum language will become accessible through the tricks and traps university.
The speed mark is acting part of the rules of engagement then.
And unmute it over.
Did somebody say something?
That is acting part of the rules of engagement.
Yes. Bad actors, good actors.
And in Avatar, isn't that main actor Australian as well, I think? Part British, part Australian, Sam Worthington. Just because you said about Australia and New Zealand out of interest.
I actually don't know any of the actors. I only understand the movie. There are no living people on this. This is a cartoon, yeah? So, but I don't know who the actors are. It's all cartoons, yeah? You don't need to pay cartoons. So it's probably a very cheap way of making a movie. If you guys understand what I'm saying. I don't know any of the characters and actors there. I never bothered to pay attention to it. Can I have the next slide, please? Interstellar was made for David Wayne Miller. And that flag that he wears, no, pick up everybody's mic. The movie Interstellar was made for David Wayne Miller to honor his technology. And you will find that flag has no yellow fringe around it, which means it's not captured. I thought I'd share that with you just in case you wanted to watch it. And